All right, so next up, Doug Poorman is a doctor of veterinary medicine and owner of Petplex Animal Hospital at Buckeye Lake, so sponsor of this event, and also a site owner of another one of the mesocosm sites down at Buckeye Lake. Doug, please.
The one thing that's not on my background too, is that I do have a background in toxicology. And so I think that's part of what helped inspire my interest in this. Bill and I met at probably a community action event in the Buckeye Lake region, and it was at a time about 4 years ago when the region was informed by the state that the 4.1-mile dam that's around the lake was in danger of breaking. And so they had come in and they had probably informed us of this in other times in the past, but they knew that they needed to do something, and so they came in. And Buckeye Lake is actually at the corner of 3 separate counties, which had never worked together well before, but because of this event and because of what the state was letting us know needed to be done in order to fix this, it really brought the community together. And it helped me understand and see a lot of what was going on, not just the need for collaborative work between the counties and the government agencies, which has been tremendously helpful, but also learning about some of the other organizations in the community that were already at work. There's a nonprofit group that had been there for about 10 or 12 years now, and they had been routinely monitoring the lake and working with the local farmers. And so the good news about this is they had done a phenomenal job with working with the local farmers and going to them and helping to teach them about how they could do things, make changes in the way of their practices that would save the farmer money and still help the environment. And so because of that, we've gotten tremendous response, at least from the large landowners around the lake. And through the monitoring, they've been able to tell that over the years, the water coming into the lake is very clean. I think there are 6 waterways that they monitor that come into it. The problem that Buckeye Lake has is that we've got 150 years of sediment that's come into the lake, and we have 1,000 geese that produce about 3 pounds of feces a day because they're non-migratory. So we have about 500 tons of feces that dump into the lake every year because of the geese. And so the water actually coming out of the lake is what we use for our mesocosm, not the water going into it. And so Bill could probably let you know better about the nitrogen content and the organic matter and stuff, but that's what we're using for our mesocosm. But one of the things that I really appreciated about Bill is that he was approaching this not just from a ecological point of view, but also from the farmer's point of view, and helping them to make a business model that was going to work for them. And I think that's really the key, because no matter how focused they are on the environment, they still have to make a living. They're still a small business owner that handles a tremendous amount of money in a year, and they, a small change in their what they can produce makes a big difference in what they can provide for their family. So I think that's essential to being able to communicate with the farmers, and help them to understand, through this process, for communities that are impacted by it, like Buckeye Lake is, it's been really encouraging to see what the community can do, what 3 counties working together can accomplish, especially at the state and national level. We've had members, county commissioners meet with Mike Pence. We've had county, members of the organization that we work with that have met with the governor personally. And, part of that is the timing of these events. I think, our national and state leaders are more open to this, as obvious by, the representatives they have today, and ODNR Representative Mary Mertz. So we really appreciate their cooperation and their openness to this, and want to thank them for what they've tried to do.
Okay, thank you for those remarks. And interesting how a sense of urgency has a tendency to bring people together and drive collaboration. That if the if the dam had not been at risk, then probably this well, that'll save it for another day. We've got other things to worry about, and developing that sense of urgency around this problem, which could also be, kick the can down the road even further, and then suddenly we're all speaking the same language and setting this similar priorities. So thank you.
Well,
okay.
And just one more comment. I'm in Licking County, Fairfield County, and Perry County are both a little smaller than ours, and so typically at the state level, those organizations don't have much of a voice, but because they've come together and worked well together with the state agencies, I think it's really helped us be able to achieve the goals that we wanted to achieve.